And good evening. We welcome you to Willett Hall on the campus of Longwood University, Farmville, Virginia. We welcome you to NCAA basketball action as it's the Aggies of North Carolina A&T taking on the Longwood Lancers. This Big South broadcast is brought to you in part by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Visit HerculesTires.com. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit Geico.com today. And Sunbelt Rentals, we have equipment for that. Good evening, everybody. I'm Brian Rushing. This is my broadcast partner, Katie Pate, this evening. Katie, as we take a look at our players to watch in this contest, a pair of 11s that we're going to be talking about here in the early going. You take a look at North Carolina A&T. Tyler May, a young man from Farmville, but it's the other Farmville, North Carolina. The VCU transfer comes in, and he could be a real difference maker for this North Carolina A&T club.
Great player from the eastern side of the state of North Carolina. He's got a slashing game. He's got a great pull-up game. He's a does-it-all kid. Definitely someone to watch.
And you take a look on the other side, Justin Hill, the freshman, really has made an impact already for this club, for Longwood. We'll see what he does as he continues his progression through his freshman season.
He's got a great family pedigree, Brian. Justin's doing a nice job as a young rookie player, getting his feet wet. Be an exciting matchup tonight.
We'll dive in more and more to that, folks, as we get into this contest. As North Carolina A&T comes into the matchup, 2-4 on the season. Longwood comes in 0-3 on this young year. And you take a look at what North Carolina A&T has done, Katie. This is a club that has had much better favor as it relates to the scheduling of things. They're 2-4 on the season, but to have 6 games at this point has got to be a real revelation for this team coached by Will Jones in his second season.
When you think about a season that is already very unique, any type of opportunity to build a little bit more chemistry, build a little bit more continuity between your players is already an advantage. North Carolina A&T has had a little more time, a few more reps, trying to build that chemistry. It'll be interesting to see here how Longwood responds, having just a couple games under their belt.
So Leslie and Carolyn is in the jump circle along with North Carolina A&T's Tyrone Lyons. The tip goes out to Longwood, and we're underway. As Longwood will begin with Nkarawem on the floor. Justin Hill with the basketball, kicks it outside to Jesper Granlund. You see the North Carolina A&T starting lineup on your screen, and Nkarawem with the up and the under has the shot partially blocked, tied up inside the paint. The held possession will go to North Carolina A&T. Leslie and Nkarawem started with a great move, but the help side defense from North Carolina A&T really created some issues down on the blocks, blocking the shot and developing into the held ball.
I think attacking with Griff Aldrich, the opportunity to get the ball inside to Leslie is absolutely a priority today. They've got to stay patient, read the defense, and make good, smart decisions.
Longwood starting out into a man-to-man defense. Juan Munoz down on the block against Cameron Langley. Langley kicks it back out. The shot taken from deep, misses short by Kenyon Dooling. Rebounded by the Lancers. Justin Hill quickly into the front court. Juan Munoz from the corner. Misses everything on that three-point attempt. The basketball gathered in by Kenyon Dooling. Just getting started here, 1 minute in from Longwood University's Willett Hall. It's the bounce to the elbow. Shot taken and made by Blake Harris. The young man from Morrisville, North Carolina, gets A&T on the board. They lead 2-0.
Harris, a quality player that I know Coach Jones is looking for a lot of production out of this year. Even mentioned that he may be a Player of the Year candidate.
Munoz down on the far side, loses it out of bounds, but it was tipped away last by a North Carolina A&T player. It'll be a baseline throw-in for the Longwood Lancers. Jesper Granlund, the young man from Helsinki, Finland, will trigger inbounds on the baseline. Still 13 on the shot clock, plenty to shoot. Longwood playing just their second home game of the season as Hill goes into the paint, up under 2 players, gets it to go.
Fearless, this young man.
Justin Hill quickly with 2 points. He's scored double figures in all 3 games this season. And off to a good start offensively. As the shot taken from way downtown, it's a make for Blake Harris. North Carolina A&T has the 5-2 advantage.
Well, so that's their MO, is a 4-around-1 offense. Penetrate, kick, looking for those perimeter three-point shots, working it around one post player on the inside.
A&T working with some three-quarter court pressure. The Lancers break the press, and now will try to go into their offense. Hill from deep on the wing, rattles out, no good. Granlund giving chase, and it's going to go out of bounds off of Jesper Granlund. Basketball to North Carolina A&T. Now, Katie, one of the things that I saw in that possession, North Carolina A&T started that possession very early on in what looked to be a 2-3 zone, but then all of a sudden, out of the pass on the wing, they went into a man. Did you spot that, and tell me why it is that they're utilizing that defensive scheme?
Sure, and looking at some of their recent play, North Carolina A&T is doing a really great job of switching their defenses within a possession. It keeps your offense on your toes, can create a little bit of havoc for the offense. Switching to a man-to-man within a possession from a zone, you can get some deflections, run-throughs, easy run-outs for some quick offense on the other end.
Christian Wilson on the baseline, loses the handle on it briefly, stolen away. Blake Harris has it for the Aggies. The lob high, the ball tipped up. On the baseline, we've got a held situation. And now we've got some conversation down on the baseline. It will be a held ball. The alternating possession going to North Carolina A&T. Now, Katie, one of the things that I wanted to ask in following up on the defensive masking that North Carolina A&T is utilizing is that primarily because they want to give the offense a false sense of security before attacking very, very hard on the defensive end?
Sure. This perfect example right here with a quick run-through. Got a little three-quarter court press here. It's just kind of a sagging press, a little bit deceiving, but then on one quick move, you can get a defender to run right through a passing lane for a quick, easy layup.
The Aggies have the 7-2 lead. A little more than 3 minutes into this contest. Christian Wilson continuing his hot shooting from beyond the arc. He had a good game against Greensboro College on Sunday afternoon, continuing that great outside shooting here to open this ball game.
I know Coach is looking for some great steady production from Christian Wilson. Just solid play, mistake-free, reliable.
Langley calls out the play. Still 10 seconds to shoot here. Not quite 4 minutes into the contest. Zach Watson with the steal. Gets it out to Justin Hill. He tracks it down. And now Longwood will go into the offense. Finding Watson streaking down the basket. Zach Watson doing it on both ends in that possession.
And that's a senior point guard working with his teammate. Great eyes by Juan Munoz for the assist and the finish.
Evens things up at 7 apiece. The pass inside. That's good ball movement by the Aggies as Cameron Langley drew the defense and was able to pitch it over to get the easy bucket.
We already know Cameron Langley is an expert with distributing the basketball. Great example there of why he's so good.
15:34 remaining here in the first half, a 9-7 Aggie lead. We'll be back on ESPN+.
Virginia's K-12 public schools.
Back here inside Willett Hall, 15:34 to play in the first half. North Carolina A&T with the 9-7 lead. Folks, for the best in Big South coverage, visit BigSouthSports.com. Stay current with the latest news, results, stats, standings, and much more. Enjoy video features showcasing remarkable student athletes or connect to school sites or social media outlets all from one place. Remember, the source for your conference information is BigSouthSports.com. Longwood will have basketball as we begin this segment of play. Griff Aldridge, the third-year head coach, still looking for win number 1 on the season as Nate Litteris is into the ballgame along with Bennett Moan as their first tour of duty for the Lancers here in this contest. Munoz out to Moan. Moan with the fake. Now Munoz from deep. That one's going to rattle around, no good. Granlund tips it last. It's out of bounds to the Aggies. Longwood in the man-to-man defense. Harris with the bounce goes around Granlund, has the help from Juan Munoz, and now Longwood has an opportunity to go in transition. Litteris on the baseline. A good aggressive move by Nate Litteris, able to take advantage of getting out front and getting a lead to the bucket.
Yeah, getting him on the board early is really, really helpful. Get his confidence up. Remember, this was a heavy senior Longwood University team last year. You've got a lot of guys getting some minutes that they maybe didn't see last year. That confidence piece is really important, especially against a great North Carolina A&T team.
10 on the shot clock for the Aggies as they look to go into their offense. Ball high screen out to Harris. Harris leans in, has it partially blocked by Bennett Moan, and here come the Lancers. Munoz over to Granlund. Granlund fires for three, misses everything. The rebound gathered in by Blake Harris. The Aggies go in transition. And the shot will not count as there's a foul on the floor. Bennett Moan will be the guilty party as Tyrone Lyons went darting down the throat of the basket and drew the foul. Leslie and Carolyn will check into the game along with Justin Hill. It'll be a baseline throw-in for North Carolina A&T.
It's where A&T is so good in transition. Long misses equal easy runouts. Those are quick baskets going in the other direction. Anxious to see what their half-court offense looks like right now.
Langley with the basketball between the rings. Has it ripped away by Litteris. Litteris stepping in, offering some hands himself. And Longwood will have Justin Hill set the offense with Leslie and Carowin. The pass to the corner to Litteris. Munoz with the left hand, can't get it to go. The rebound gathered in by Kenyon Dooley. Attacking the basket there is Cameron Langley. He'll go to the line to shoot free throws.
Something to look for here on the last few possessions, Brian. This has got to be kind of in the scouting report for Longwood University. We've seen Nate Litteris and Juan Munoz both dig in on Langley when he drives to the basket. Gotten a couple steals with the opportunity to score on the other end. Usually he's going to take two defenders to get this young man to pass the ball, get it out of his hands.
Langley, as you might imagine, leads this club in assists. He's got 41 on the season. Should get an opportunity to take it to head coach Will Jones in his second season. Should take a look at Cameron Langley's numbers. He's also averaging 5.8 rebounds and almost 8 points per contest. So certainly a do-it-all guard for this Aggies club.
His strength with dribble penetration naturally puts him down in the paint. So when shots go up, he's right there to help on the defensive boards and does a nice job.
Hill out ahead to Bennett Moan. 10-9 the Aggies lead. 13:20 remaining in the first half of action. Hill passes to Nkarawim. I know he's a freshman, Katie, but it didn't look like a freshman there. Drawing the second man for the Aggies and finding Nkarawim for the easy dunk.
I love his enthusiasm after the play. Anytime you can get a freshman guard, especially one that runs double at the point, to get minutes this early in his career, special things are going to happen for Justin Hill as time goes by.
The three-pointer misses short. Nate Litteris with the rebound. Checking into the game for Longwood just a moment ago, C.J. Williams, the young man out of Chester, Virginia. Litteris from deep. Bang! Knocks down the triple. Nate Litteris has 5 points in the game. The Lancers have a 4-point advantage at 14-10.
Nice patient play, dribble penetration, bounce pass off to Leslie the play before, and then Nate for the kick-out three. That's just good, steady guard play that equates to a great scoring opportunity for a teammate.
There's going to be an offensive foul on North Carolina A&T. That foul is going to be on Quentin Jones, and it's going to give the basketball back to the Longwood Lancers. Longwood, on a 5-1 run, have the 14-10 advantage. 12:25 remaining in the contest. North Carolina A&T has Tyler May into the game, along with Fred Cleveland Jr., Quentin Jones, Tyler Jones, and then, of course, Cameron Langley. Watson went to set the screen. Granlund went away from it. The ball thrown out of bounds. Possession over to A&T. Christian Wilson will check back in for Nate Litteris. Katie, Griff Aldrich desperately needs his bench to contribute. Not just defense and rebounding, of course, but they need some firepower off the bench. Nate Litteris able to offer that 5 points in that segment of play.
So necessary right now for this young Longwood Lancers team. Got to take scoring from wherever that you can get it. When a player steps up, sees it, stay consistent with it.
Christian Wilson guarding Quentin Jones. Ball goes over to Fred Cleveland Jr., 13 on the shot clock. They'll go in the corner to Langley. Now the shot taken from deep by Jones, misses everything, and there'll be a foul underneath the basket. 11:42 remaining here in the first half. The Lancers have a 4-point advantage. We'll be back in just a moment. This is ESPN Basketball. Fans get social with the Big South. Join the always growing network of Big South fans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more. You can also follow the conference source for game updates and on-site championship coverage via Twitter at Big South Game Day. Follow, watch, like, and share with the Big South Conference. 11:42 remaining here in Willett Hall. First half action. The Longwood Lancers with a 14-10 lead over North Carolina A&T. Brian Rushing, Katie Pate here. Katie, certainly from the number standpoint, things looking really promising for the Lancers after this first 8+ minutes of action.
I think one of the things I like the most is the 3 turnovers. You know, North Carolina A&T had an incredible showing against Charleston Southern University, another Big South opponent, forced them into enough turnovers to score 40 points off of those turnovers. If we can limit those today, if Longwood University can keep those numbers low, that'll certainly help.
It's the offensive foul on North Carolina A&T was another screening foul. It was on Quentin Jones. That's now his second. Longwood will have the basketball with that 4-point advantage. Christian Wilson along the baseline has it tipped out of bounds by the Aggies. Baseline throw in for Longwood. Longwood aligning with Granlund on the floor, Watson, Wilson, Munoz, and Hill. Munoz lost the handle on it, out of bounds to the Aggies.
A&T's ball screen defense pretty solid there. They do a nice job communicating with one another, keeping those hands active, trying to disrupt the dribble.
Longwood now with 4 turnovers in the contest. North Carolina A&T with 5 here in the early going. Something I'm sure that Will Jones is going to want to try to cover up as quickly as possible. Don't want to make this a turnover fest from the Aggie standpoint. The shot taken high, misses, tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with North Carolina A&T.
I don't want to speak too soon, but the pace of play right now between Longwood and A&T kind of favors Longwood a little bit. It's not quite so frenzied.
Well, and I think, Katie, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the Longwood effort here in the first 9 minutes of this contest has been very, very competent. And because of that, they're probably able to dictate tempo as we see Christian Wilson go to the bucket. He'll get free throws.
Absolutely. Watching Justin Hill on that possession again, speaking to a young man that's gaining experience literally by the second. Good body control on that dribble penetration. Even better decision on Christian Wilson's part, recognizing that Hill may have gotten himself a little bit deep in that play action and then cut to the ball and end up at the free throw line.
Wilson makes the first of the 2 free throws, a 5-point advantage for Longwood. Of course, for those that follow Virginia basketball from the state perspective, can remember, if they go into the Wayback Machine just a little bit, Donna Holt-Hill, an All-American at Virginia. Zach Watson gets the putback, and the lead goes to 7 at 17-10.
It's my understanding his mother was quite good at the University of Virginia, and I believe might have a jersey hanging in the rafters there.
Shot taken from way downtown by Fred Cleveland Jr. He might have shot that one from Cleveland. He gets the triple, 17-13 the score. Wilson with the ball fake, goes into the paint, laying. I like the Christian Wilson that we're seeing when he puts the ball on the floor and attacks the rim. He's not just a one-dimensional offensive player any longer.
Definitely a defensive nightmare when you can score on the perimeter and put the ball on the floor and finish that close to the rim. His size, his pace, and his body control all wins to be able to score in both those ways.
I believe Jesper Granlund's going to be the one that they call the foul on. It will be on Jesper Granlund. Checking into the game will be Leslie and Caroham. Also into the game will be C.J. Williams for Longwood. Justin Hill and Zach Watson will depart with 9:45 remaining in this first half. The Lancers enjoying that 6-point advantage. Checking into the basketball game now for North Carolina A&T, Harry Morris, a 6'11 center from the United Kingdom. So North Carolina showing off size, and now they've got even more size on the floor with Morris joining the fray.
This is kind of that go-to offense for them, this 4-around-1, little bit of motion, interchanging on the backside and isolating your post player inside. Look for the backdoor cuts coming from the guards.
Granlund gathers in the miss. The Lancers go into the offense. Granlund into the paint, head fake. Has the shot blocked by Morris. Griff Aldridge did not agree with that being a clean block, and he might have had a case. Morris had his shot blocked initially. The fade misses, and Caroham gathers it for Longwood. Munoz fires. Munoz back irons it no good. Gathered in by Caroham. And Caroham, another pump fake, goes in, can't get it to fall. Morris gets tied up with Caroham. It'll be the third held ball of the half. The possession will go to North Carolina A&T. Once that ball comes off the rim, you've got two teams that are contesting feverishly for the basketball.
Nice job by Caroham staying active.
After a brief conversation with the officials, they decided that it did in fact go to A&T, and they are correct. And Will Jones is going to take a timeout. It'll be a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here inside Willett Hall. Katie, I want to throw an obscure stat at you. I'm a bit of a stat junkie. I enjoy it, no question about it. But this one really, really intrigued me. This North Carolina A&T club comes into this game with not a single player averaging more than 8 points a contest. However, they've got 10 players on the team averaging 4.7 points or better. Katie, is that a club that can't find a go-to scorer, or is that a club that just really enjoys sharing the basketball?
I think that's sharing the basketball. That's some great balance. That's also a team probably trying to find a little bit of its identity. It also makes the assistant coach on the opposite side doing a scouting report, it makes their life absolutely miserable when you have to write up stats on probably 15 different people.
Well, and I would imagine that from those 10 different scorers, it's 10 different ways in which they try to score, which makes it doubly tough to get a scout on a team.
Absolutely.
8:33 remaining in the first half, a 6-point advantage for the Lancers. Man-to-man defense. So that shot misses short. The rebound gathered in, and Leslie and Caroham with an aggressive block, but the body contact is going to send Tyler May to the line to shoot free throws.
Interesting point of an offense that's a 4-around-1 where you have 4 players out on the perimeter. When you take those long 3-point shots, the distance and the speed with which the offensive player on the backside can attack the basket to get these offensive rebounds, you got a lot of speed, you got a lot of distance. So you're looking at a great player in Tyler May being able to crash from the backside. A lot of speed. He's got plenty of room to get there and get his hands on the ball for a great offensive rebound and a foul.
The official's going to ask for the basketball to get wiped down a little bit. A little bit of perspiration apparently on it. So they'll tend to that, and that'll send Tyler May to the line. Tyler May on this season, 9 of 13 from the charity stripe. First free throw is up and true. 19-14 the score.
See if North Carolina A&T puts some press action on here.
May's second free throw missed everything. Well, you would think you would press off of a make. They still would have an opportunity to press here off the violation. So Longwood will get the basketball. I've seen air balls before, but it's
I didn't
very
see that
infrequent
one.
that I see somebody miss and get the backboard.
They've gone into a half-court trap right here as they cross half court. Look for that trap action. It's real extended, very high.
Williams into the paint, has that shot erased out of bounds by Webster Fillmore. 7:59 remaining here inside of Willett Hall. Lancers 19-14. This is Big South Basketball on ESPN+.
Everybody here get it out of control.
Back here inside Willett Hall, 7:59 remaining. Longwood will have the basketball on the baseline. 6 seconds left on their shot clock. Jesper Granlund will inbound on the baseline. So glad that you could join us this evening from Willett Hall. Brian Russian, Katie Pate here as Granlund looks to trigger into Christian Wilson. Wilson off the window, no good. Rebound gathered in by the Aggies. That was Webster Fillmore who erased the previous shot before the timeout. He gathered in the rebound. Cameron Langley has that pass deflected, was able to get it back over to Tyrone Lyons. Langley throws up the floater, gets the lay-in, 19-16 the score. Munoz quickly into the front court. And in Carolina, it's going to be called for the offensive foul. Katie, it looked like in that situation, and Carolyn was almost anticipating contact that never happened, and he almost fell into the defensive player, which is what prompted the charge.
I got to tell you, the last few games that we've seen out of him, he's been doubled in the post. So I'm not surprised that he was probably looking for that pressure. I wasn't sure if there was going to be a travel or a charge on that play.
That looked like me heading to the coffee maker when I wake up in the morning. A&T with the basketball, down 3, the pass not completed to the baseline. It'll go over to the Lancers with 7:08 remaining here in the first half of action.
Good defensive presence by Zach Watson on that play. Here's your half-court trap here.
Cameron O'Connor on the floor for the first time for the Lancers. 11 on the shot clock, so still time for Longwood. Munoz throws it up off the window.
Not sure how he got that one to fall.
Oh, that was fancy. Whew. Langley looks inside the post, has it ripped away by Munoz, and now Munoz will look to go to the paint, throws it up off the window, and Juan Munoz has 4 straight, and the lead is up to 7, 23-16 in favor of Longwood.
Again, great defensive presence by Juan Munoz tonight. He's getting his hand on a lot of balls, disrupting play action. Another turnover.
North Carolina A&T throws the basketball out of bounds, and Will Jones, as soon as the ball was released underneath the bucket, asked the question why to his players. He obviously was not in love with that offensive set.
Boy, if I had $1 every time I said that.
Langley, good body control to get to the basket, gets the lay-in. Griff Aldrich is going to take the 30-second timeout with 5:57 remaining. 23-18, the Longwood lead. And Katie, I've got to be honest with you. This is a club that's coming in today with a different energy than what I saw on Sunday. And I would imagine that part of that is the fact that North Carolina A&T, we understand how athletic and how good this club is. But this is a situation where this club desperately wants their first win of the season, and they want to hold up their home court.
There's no doubt about that. I had a great conversation with head coach Griff Aldrich around lunchtime yesterday, and we had a chance to discuss the last few games for the Lancers. Just reminded him, certainly one game does not define a season. It's a great opportunity for the Longwood Lancers to put together a nice performance back on the home floor. We've got some great kind of fans here, a little bit of fan noise in the background. Anytime you can play at home, it's a great chance to get things going back in the right direction.
Yeah, Katie, I walked in this afternoon and I was like, wait a minute. Is that Danny DeVito sitting beside of Dan Lebitard?
Yeah, right, they're all here.
Well, there's a lot of somebody here. I think this is probably DeVito's first trip into Farmville, that's for sure.
No, there's no doubt about it. Lions and tigers and bears, and I mean, we are.
We'll let the fans fill in the blank
correct.
there.
We are influencing the supply chain of cardboard right now, that's for sure.
Jesper Granlund will inbound on the sideline. 5:49 remaining in the first half. Lancers with a 5-point advantage. Granlund, pump fake. Now they'll rotate it around. Over to Litteris. Litteris with 5 already. Misses that one long, but there's Granlund. Johnny on the spot. Took advantage. Got the offensive rebound from the weak side, and he gets the bucket. And that ball tipped out of bounds. Last touch by an Aggies player, Jeremy Robinson. And Longwood gets the basketball back.
A&T's press. 2-2-1. Saw them run this against Stanford University late in that game.
Munoz fires. Munoz makes. That's 22 straight with a 3-point make for Munoz. He gets it, and the lead is its largest of the night at 28-18. Shot taken, shot made by Jeremy Robinson.
When Juan Munoz has an opportunity to shoot a three-pointer that looks like a free throw, chances are pretty good.
Justin Hill with the basketball at the top. A&T still working out of the zone. Now Zach Watson on the baseline, kicks it back out to Granlund. 6 on the shot clock. Munoz fires short. The basketball gathered in by Robinson. Here come the Aggies. Langley working around Munoz. Fred Cleveland will fire again. Misses that one wide right. Gathered in by Litteris. 8-point advantage for the Lancers. Granlund kicks it over to Hill. Oh, that's a delightful play. Nate Litteris with the look away, finding Zach Watson. Zach Watson all by his lonesome makes the lay-in, the lead back to 10.
Great zone gap penetration by Nate Litteris. Make the defensive commit, little drop-down pass for an easy bucket. That's good zone offense.
Deep 3 taken for A&T, misses. And Katie, this is one thing that I saw in the early preparation for this contest. This is an A&T club that has not shot the ball incredibly well as a team so far this year. Litteris from deep, he makes the triple, and the Lancers are feeling it. They lead by a baker's dozen with 3.5 minutes in the first half.
But again, going back to what we talked about early on with North Carolina A&T, where they're so good as that primary fast break where they get to run and they push the tempo and pace of the game. This is a walked-up offense right here, and they're having to operate within a half court. Definitely uncharacteristic of what they've been doing so far this season.
Webster Fillmore is guilty of the push in the back with 3:10 remaining. We'll go to a timeout as you're watching Big South Basketball on ESPN Plus, brought to you in part by Geico.
Monday night.
Back here inside of Willett Hall, the Longwood Lancers enjoying a 13-point advantage, 33-20 over the Aggies. And Katie, before the break, you talked about this A&T team that really wants to get out to the races. They want to dictate tempo. They want to utilize that fast break. Very hard to do that when Longwood's making shots on the other end.
Absolutely. If you talk with Coach Marty McGillen, he's the one that changes out the nets here. There's fast nets and there's slow nets. He might have put up some slow nets. Try to slow this game down just a little bit if there's a lot of makes.
It reminds me of the story of the New York Knicks back in the mid-'80s at Madison Square Garden when Bernard King played there, when they were on the other side. When King was playing on the offensive end, they would put the really tight, thick net so the ball, once it went into the hoop, gave them a little extra time to play defense.
Absolutely. A&T back with their 2-3 zone.
Which at some point, if Longwood continues to shoot the ball as well as they have, A&T's got to rethink their defensive strategy from the zone perspective. Hill on the baseline, throws up the floater, gets it to go. The lead is 15, Justin Hill with the bucket.
The success of that offensive possession was all predicated on a backside kind of deep corner, low post position entry with a rapid ball reversal. Anytime you can get the ball down towards the baseline against the zone, it draws everybody over there, and a reversal leads to a wide open shot.
Tyler Jones with the bucket, 2.5 minutes remaining. The lead is back to 13 for the Lancers. Arguably their most impressive half of the year so far, happening inside Willett Hall this evening.
See if they go to the short corner again here.
Ilya Stefanovic is into the game for his first tour of duty. Cameron O'Connor is going to touch the sideline with his back heel.
Boy, I've seen that a lot this year.
Well, and I think what it is these players are wearing more and more loud color shoes. They're very colorful, and it's making it very easy for the officials to spot when they're on the sideline.
And maybe something to that.
I'm into shoe fashion, Katie. A&T with the basketball, kicks it out over to the wing. Now the shot taken again by Jeremy Robinson, back irons that one, no good. Stefanovic with the rebound. Here come the Lancers with a 13-point advantage. Wilson working against Robinson, goes into the paint, gets held up. Still 14 on the shot clock for the Lancers. Hill fires from deep. Back irons it, no good. Stefanovic got tied up, and they saw it. It'll stay with the Longwood Lancers. Ilya Stefanovic went for the basketball, but he had one thing missing, and that was his left arm. It was being tied up by an A&T player. This Longwood will bring substitutions on. Zach Watson and Jesper Granlund will check into the contest. North Carolina A&T will counter with Blake Harris and Harry Morris. 35-22 lead, 91 seconds remaining in the first half. Munoz out to Hill. Good catch by Hill to keep that one in bounds. 9 on the shot clock. Wilson out to Hill. The extra pass to Munoz for 3.
Great offensive action. Talk about unselfish play. That was a little bit reminiscent of what we saw late in the season from the Longwood Lancers last year. Good ball movement led to that great winning streak that sent them into the conference tournament as a 4 seed.
Katie, the one thing that I was so impressed there from the Longwood Lancers in that possession is, despite the fact this is a young club and still learning to trust each other on the offensive end, they didn't rush deep into the shot clock. They decided to take the extra pass. Juan Munoz rewarded him with the triple.
Yeah, we talked about what Juan Munoz looks like when he's wide open. It's like he's standing at the free throw line. That rim looks about as big as the ocean.
Jeremy Robinson will be at the free throw line. 1 for 1 on the season. The left-hander fires. It's true. 38-23 the score in favor of Longwood.
Again, be on the lookout for some press defensive action. You're seeing a little rotation here, sending your big man back. Usually a sign that you're going to have a defensive presence at the back court, or at least at the half-court line.
Second free throw from Robinson is true. The lead trimmed to 14.
A little half court, a 3/4 court.
O'Connor inside to Watson. They'll reset to Wilson. Wilson fires, short irons it, no good. The rebound gathered in by Harry Morris. Morris and Langley had some difficulty getting connected with one another. They're finally able to get the ball across the timeline. Langley being guarded by Munoz. Man-to-man defense by the Lancers. Shot misses long. Gathered in by Justin Hill. No shot clock. They've got 25 seconds to do as they will. They will go into the locker room with a considerable lead. The question is, how big? Depends on this possession. Hill about 43 feet from the bucket. Will look to set the offense. Outside to O'Connor, fires from deep, and you betcha, Cameron O'Connor gets the knockdown. It's a 17-point lead, and that's exactly what Longwood takes into the locker room. Their best half of the season so far gives them a 17-point advantage. When we come back, we'll have the halftime report coming back in just a bit on ESPN+.
Hi, Peyton.
Your president?
Can't shoot with that.
Omaha.
There it is.
Nothing but net.
Back here inside Willett Hall, the Longwood Lancers with a 41-24 lead over North Carolina A&T. This is the Geico Halftime Report. This Big South broadcast is brought to you in part by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Visit HerculesTires.com. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit Geico.com today. And Sunbelt Rentals, we have equipment for that. Brian Rushing here with Katie Pate. Katie, in the background here for halftime, they're playing Bruno Mars Finesse, and the Longwood Lancers are playing with a little bit of finesse this evening. Very smooth, very fluid, much like Bruno Mars, a 17-point lead after 20 minutes of action.
I think it was maybe just 48 hours ago. I might have been wondering about where our level of patience is, but this is a solid play that we've seen from Longwood, obviously since this season started, but even way back into March when you think back to the conference tournament appearance against Hampton University on the campus of Radford. I know Griff Aldrich has to be pleased. One of the things that he and I discussed yesterday was what happens when a team that's young and has some building and things to do to figure one another out. What happens when you just stay steady, consistent, and you stick to the game plan? That scouting report that the assistant coaches and head coaches put together is there for a reason. It's a script. It's got the answers to the test on it. And when you study it up and you stick to it, and you don't go too far away from it, you're going to pass that math test. I needed a lot of help in math. Good to see the Lancers being successful with their scout right now.
Well, and you take a look at some of the halftime stats here. This is a Longwood club that is shooting right now 53% from the field, but they're shooting 6 of 15, 40% in that second half. I'm sure that we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in our next segment of the Geico Halftime Report. But those numbers really are a breath of fresh air for this Longwood club and have spelled really just how well the 20 minutes have gone for this Lancers club against North Carolina A&T.
Well, I think, again, we talk about the play of Juan Munoz. Just a great veteran player. I know that Griff Aldrich is continuing to try to build his leadership abilities and talents up at the front of his offense. You think about that point guard position essentially being the general or the mouthpiece of your head coach. When Juan Munoz is playing well and he's directing and leading that offense, the Longwood Lancers are going to find success.
Juan Munoz with a couple of triples here in this first half has given the Longwood Lancers a 17-point advantage here inside Willett Hall as the Longwood Lancers looking for win number 1 on the season against a North Carolina A&T club that is already playing their 7th game of the season. As the Longwood Lancers with that 41-24 lead against North Carolina A&T find the best variety of officially licensed merchandise and conference and school branded items at BigSouthStore.com. Garrett with some new apparel or find that perfect gift. Get fully equipped for all your game day fun with BigSouthStore.com. The Longwood Lancers lead 41-24. We'll be back in just a bit. This is ESPN+. Back here inside Willett Hall with the Geico Halftime Report, and we would like to also mention Pepsi. Pepsi is proud to be the official beverage partner of the Big South Conference Championships. So don't forget to pick up a delicious, refreshing Pepsi today. Pepsi, that's what I like, and if you're a Longwood Lancers fan tonight, Katie, what you like is the halftime score, 41-24 in favor of the Lancers. And Katie, I did kind of tease the stats from the first half. This is a Longwood club that's shooting 53% from the field, 40% from beyond the arc. They've got 4 players with at least 6 points in the contest, so there's certainly balance there. What are you seeing out of the first half from this Longwood club? And then I'll turn it over on you. What do you think Will Jones is sharing with his club from the first 20 minutes of action in the locker room?
Well, I'm almost tired of using the word patience, but that's exactly what Longwood University is doing right now. They are sharing the basketball, and they're sticking to the offense that Griff Aldrich has put together. You're looking at an assist-to-turnover ratio of 9-9. Justin Hill, the young one, 5 assists to 1 turnover against a team that defensively in North Carolina A&T is usually very, very strong. So his decision-making abilities in the clutch is really, really exciting. That 1-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, anytime you can secure that statistic, you're headed in the right direction.
It's a basketball team that has 6 steals already in the first half. They've out-rebounded North Carolina A&T 19-13, and they have a 17-point lead at the intermission. We'll be back in just a bit with the second half as you're watching college basketball on ESPN+. Back here inside Willett Hall, the Longwood Lancers with a 41-24 lead. Things going very well for the Longwood Lancers here in this first 20 minutes of action. And North Carolina A&T, who just the other day welcomed the Stanford Cardinal to Corbett Arena, got on the road, and I'm not quite sure, Katie Pate, that they were expecting this.
Yeah, I would venture to guess Coach Jones was in the locker room telling his guys to turn up the heat. Bring that energy and bring that enthusiasm that North Carolina A&T is known for. This is a team that scored over 90 points once Coach Jones took the helm on Christmas Eve of 2019 this past year. This is a team that's capable of big things. I would expect their defense to be quite good this half.
And I would imagine there's probably going to be a little bit of reckless abandon in how they play this next 20 minutes. And they're going to really try to create some mayhem in this final 20 minutes of action against the Longwood Lancers.
All the more reason for Longwood to stick to what's been working. Execute the sets, good solid play, not a lot of rushing, take advantage of gaps in the defense, drop down passes to their teammates, good solid finishes, and then sprint back in transition defense. I would look for North Carolina A&T to be throwing the ball over the top in transition, trying to get to the basket as quickly as possible.
Well, we are just moments away from the start of second half action here inside of Willett Hall. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening, and certainly we've appreciated a lot of the chatter and the love that we've gotten through way of social media this evening. It's been a fun broadcast to do, and I'm certainly glad that we've had an opportunity to bring it to you this evening. A matchup against two teams that are roughly about 2 hours from each other. This is the second consecutive matchup against a team from Greensboro, North Carolina. Longwood will have the basketball to start the second half. They'll be on the floor with Munoz, Hill, and Carouan, Wilson, and Granlund. Munoz fires, misses short. The rebound gathered in by the Aggies. Shot taken, shot made by Cameron Langley. Langley on the floor with Tyrone Lyons, also on the floor with Kenyon Dewling, as well as Harry Morris. Blake Harris rounding out the five for the Aggies.
Look for this defense to be very aggressive up top, running through passing lanes, trying to get a deflection or a steal going to the other end. We've already seen what Langley does best, going from one end to the other and finishing. No offense had to be executed on that last possession for A&T. It was just simply drive all the way to the basket and score.
And a foul is going to be called on Harry Morris. Morris, the foul about 35 feet from the bucket. Hill was trying to split the defense there, was able to draw the foul from Morris, and they'll get a fresh 20 with 19:08 remaining here in this contest. 41-26 lead for Longwood. Munoz between the circles. Dribble drives around. Morris left-handed scoop. That might have been tipped after it got off the backboard. No call there from the officials. North Carolina A&T will get the basketball after the ball was deflected out of bounds.
Kudos to Leslie Nakarium for just staying in that play. Although the deflection went out on him, it causes A&T to have to take the ball out of bounds and then get into their offense versus just a deflection that they get to run out.
Langley gets the screen from Lyons. Now resets with Morris. Kicks it out to Harris. Harris fires the triple, and it's a fast 5-0 run for A&T. Cuts the lead to 41-29.
Well, we already know Coach Jones' thoughts on Harris and his abilities to really help lead this team. Justin Hill might need a little bit higher hands on those closeouts when you've got a shooter that is that prolific from the outside. Hips low, hands high.
Hill with the bounce, back out to Munoz. Munoz fires again. Justin Hill drew the defense, got Munoz wide open. He knocks the shot down. The lead goes back to 15.
Just free throws, Brian. He's just shooting free throws.
So Longwood back in the scoring column for the second half. Leads 44-29. Langley takes in Carouan. out about 35 feet. Now they'll find Harris again, and Harris is making it look pretty easy also as he counters with another triple. He's got 6 in the second half, and the lead goes back to 12. Now Christian Wilson, and he knocks it down.
Boxing. This is a boxing match right here. A couple bit of prize fighters taking shots at one another.
Will Jones is not happy with his club's transition defense as there was nobody wearing a gold uniform anywhere near Christian Wilson. 47-32 the lead. Out to Morris. Morris showing that Euro range, has the shot deflected by 2 Lancers players, gathered in by Langley. He gets the lay-in.
I know whenever I got stuck down low with a teammate, I wanted the stat, so nobody was going to take that from me. Longwood's got to maintain possession of that rebound. They worked too hard for it.
Granlund going baseline. Langley tried to rip it away from the backside. It's out of bounds, possession to the Lancers. Still 19 on the shot clock as Zach Watson and Bennett Moan check in for Longwood. So it'll be a baseline throw-in for the Lancers. Jesper Granlund will do the honors. Wilson gets hit. Can't negotiate the shot to go in, but he does get the contact, and he'll shoot the free throws. Katie, it looked like there was a couple of options there for Granlund on that inbounds play.
Yeah, Christian Wilson is just doing such a nice job cutting and going hard to the basket. A lot of that action, though, you've kind of got a little bit of a decoy in Zach Watson. Zach is doing all the little things right. He's acting like he really wants that ball, makes the defense shift just a little bit. About half second quicker, Christian Wilson might have had this in a three-point play, but nonetheless lands at the free throw line. Just good aggressive offensive action from Longwood.
Wilson makes the free throws. The lead goes back to 15 at 49-34. Longwood in a man-to-man defense. Langley tries to activate with a screen from Lyons. Harris gave it a brief thought about firing there, but decided not to. Granlund doing some pretty solid defensive work there, but Harris able to step back and hit the fadeaway jumper. He's got 8 in the second half.
I'm not sure you could ask for much more from Granlund on that possession defensively. That's just a great player making a great move against solid defense.
Bennett Moan can't get the shot to fall. Watson contesting. It's going to go out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Lancers. Moan was open in that opportunity, just couldn't get it to fall, but the Lancers staying with it under the basket. Is able to get the team rebound with the ball tipped out of bounds. They'll have a fresh 20, and they'll throw it into the backcourt to Munoz. Granlund wide open. Can't get that one to fall, but there's Johnny on the spot. Christian Wilson with the putback.
We talked about that with A&T. When you have perimeter players who crash the glass, Christian came from the outside and charged in.
Harris on the bounce, throws it up very high, can't get it to go. Wilson boards it, finds Munoz on the wing. The Lancers are running. Wilson sets it back up, still plenty of time on the shot clock. Munoz steps back. Now they'll rotate it out to Wilson for a deep three, misses short. Now the Aggies look to run. Is getting the contact and making the bucket is Kenyon Dewling. Dewling will go to the line when we come back. 15-20 remaining into the ball game as the Lancers have a 13-point lead here in Farmville. We'll be back on ESPN Plus.
I wanted to let those people know that I really appreciate it.
And HU is his spot. This is Cindy. When you call her up, she's so nice on the phone. This is Jen. This is Ashley.
15-20 remaining in the ball game from Willett Hall. Brian Rushing, Katie Pate, so glad you could join us this evening. Katie, taking a look at some of the early returns from this first segment of the second half. Longwood Lancers have Juan Munoz and Christian Wilson with 13 points apiece. Wilson had 15 last time out, replicating the same offensive output that he had on Sunday.
It's a nice two-man game between the two of them right now, building on the relationship that they formed last season. Expecting great things from both of them.
The Dewling free throw missed. giving Longwood the basketball. 13-point advantage.
Trapping ball screens right here.
Justin Hill can't get it to go, but he contests for the rebound and comes away with it.
It's a gutsy play for a young man to go all the way down in there and then go ahead and get his own rebound. Again, seeing A&T's pressure pick up, you can kind of feel it coming off of them right now. Trapping ball screens, pressure's moving towards half court. Dangerous right there, very dangerous.
So that long pass was stolen by Harris. They'll throw it up high, and Dooling with the easy lay-in, and it's now an 11-point ball game.
Comes half court, little press here. Watch trap actions in the corners.
And they'll call the block on Langley as Litteris looked like he was going to try to pitch it to Bennett Moan. Langley looked like he was going to try to overplay that passing lane and got caught in the middle with the block. It'll be a baseline throw for Longwood. 14:39 remaining in the ball game. A&T in the man-to-man. Hill drives, and they'll call the trip as he was going toward the basket before pitching it off to Moan.
North Carolina A&T's got to be a little bit careful here. They've just picked up their 5th team foul at the 14:26 mark. You get close to that 7 mark, that's a lot of time to be putting Longwood University at the line.
A scenario for Longwood that if you're a follower of the Lancers, you're excited about the fact that they've got a chance to score points from the free throw line. But it does stretch the game out, which at this point is exactly what North Carolina A&T would want to do.
Absolutely.
Litteris underneath, gets the bunny to go. Nate Litteris with the bucket. He's got 10 in the ball game. He's in the double figures, the 3rd player to do so.
Again, we talk about the confidence in that young man. This is about as sharp as we could ask him to look at this point early in the season.
Leslie and Caroham erases the shot against the backboard, but went to the floor almost immediately, and he's a little slow to get up. As North Carolina A&T went strong to the bucket, but in Caroham does what he does well, erasing that shot around the bucket. As we have 14:06 remaining in the ball game, Longwood with a 53-40 lead against the North Carolina A&T Aggies. North Carolina A&T, Katie, this is their final year of them being in the MEAC. They'll be a member of the Big South coming next year, and I would imagine if the action is going to be similar to this nature, what we're going to see in future years out of these two clubs, it's going to be a tough ticket to get in Willett Hall when we actually bring real people into the arena.
Absolutely. This is a great addition to the Big South. Adds another element to the league. Great competitive squad. History of winning and tradition. Certainly in the footprint of the Big South. I know that North Carolina A&T has got to be very excited to be joining the family.
Well, and I mean, in all honesty, the trip from Greensboro to Farmville, 2 hours in length, and really, you get to see some of the most picturesque scenery in the state of Virginia making that trip. So not only is it a simple and easy ride, but it's a pretty picturesque one.
No question. And we talk about all the time, what's the rivalry? Who's the rivalry? And this is one that could emerge just based on geography and proximity. I already like the competitiveness between these two squads. I agree. This is going to be a relationship that should be fun to watch over the years.
Longwood quickly gets it into the front court. Justin Hill racing down the floor. Bennett Moan fires. Bang! He gets the knockdown. 56-40 the score in favor of the Lancers.
With the hard clap after, we talk about Bennett stepping in and serving his role, doing his job. Just stand there, be patient, let the ball come to you, let the shot come to you, knock it down when it's most important. And I love the kids' headband.
The young man from Lake Travis High School in Austin, Texas, gets the triple, stretches the lead back to 16. Shot taken, back iron no good, as that was Tyrone Lyons stepping back for the 15-footer. Munoz splits the double team, leans in, and they'll call the offensive foul. Munoz didn't agree. Griff Aldridge had his issues with the call. I'll put the stripes on you, Katie Pate. What did you think there? See, I was giving you an opportunity to say maybe he might have had his feet or heels on the restricted area.
My guess is heels. The official appeared to be right there.
The offensive foul does give the basketball back to the Aggies with 13-19 remaining in the ballgame. That's okay. You wear the coach's hat often enough. I'll probably wear the stripes from now on.
I need these guys in the black and white to like me right now.
Down on the baseline, Tyler Jones misses the shot. It's tipped at the basket. Watson contesting. Litteris has it for the Lancers.
Great second effort by Longwood, just hanging around the rim. Doesn't matter how many times you deflect the ball, so long as it lands in your hands.
Litteris, nowhere to go, goes back out to Hill. Hill for the triple, front irons it no good. Gathered in by Dooling. Harris quickly into the front court. He'll draw the foul.
As soon as Harris got that rebound, his eyes were up. He's scanning the floor, looking at those fast break lanes, seeing where he can release the ball or finish all the way to the basket. A&T is looking to run. They just need the opportunity to get there. Longwood's doing a great job of getting back in transition defense right now and communicating, covering those areas. A&T's going to still press.
Blake Harris misfires from deep. Blake Harris, Juan Munoz, both went to Panther Creek High School in Morrisville, North Carolina. So I would imagine if this is the first time they've played collegiately against each other, I have a feeling they might know something about each other from the playgrounds. Christian Wilson out to Granlund. Granlund fires, and he makes the triple, and the lead goes back to 19 in favor of Longwood.
Again, Granlund, Bennett Moan, these players stepping in and assuming a role when it's needed most. It's unselfish play, great ball movement.
Largest lead of the ball game for the Lancers at 19. Zach Watson, the guilty party on the foul.
Again, I know Griff Aldrich really has to be pleased with the unselfish play of some of these guys. You know, Brian, there are a few players for Longwood that are currently injured that we saw last year who had a ton of time. And so for these other guys to be stepping into these roles is really impressive and a sure sign of good things to come when this whole team is healthy.
Langley off the window and gets it to go. Yeah, talking about Harub Lyjan as well as Deshaun Wade. Those are two players that haven't seen any action yet, and we were anticipating that they would get a ton of minutes for Griff Aldridge's club. Talked about it on Sunday. 10 players had never seen the floor in a Longwood uniform coming into this season out of the 17 guys on the roster. Hill floats it in. That's good stuff there from the freshman. Gets the 13-foot floater to go, and the lead goes back to 19.
Are we sure he's a freshman? Those kind of moves and those finishes against a quality defense.
Well, they're freshmen, and then they're a freshman, and he might qualify into that latter group of guys that have seen a lot of high-level basketball short of coming to Longwood.
You mentioned Harub Lyjan and Deshaun Wade, both of them sitting there towards the end of the bench of this restricted bench, socially distant, but they're engaged, they're yelling, they're cheering on their teammates. Always exciting to see when players who don't have an opportunity to step on the floor but typically get high minutes are really, really supporting their teammates.
8 on the shot clock for the Lancers. Granlund into the paint, throws up the floater, and gets it to go with 3 on the shot clock. Goes back to a 19-point advantage, 10.5 minutes remaining. A&T has yet to get an answer on the defensive end. Longwood continues to come up with shot after shot.
They've put Harris in a permanent fixture in that right corner. He is spotting up for any time they can kick it out to him. His sweet spot. Missed him on this last possession.
Hill between the circles. will utilize the screen from Watson, throws it up high, and Watson can't get it to go, and it's touched out of bounds. And with 9:56 remaining in the ball game, the Lancers lead by 19. You are watching college basketball on ESPN+. We'll be right back.
They're going to have some difficult choices to make.
Back here in Willett Hall, a 63-44 lead for the Longwood Lancers halfway through the second half. Brian Rushing here, along with Katie Pate. Katie, this is a Longwood club. We talked about it earlier in the second half. They're making shots against A&T, giving them little opportunity to make a comeback in this ball game.
There are two things that don't lie, numbers and film. And the numbers on this stat sheet are well in favor of Longwood University. I know Griff Aldrich and his staff have to be really excited about the production that's on the floor right now.
Cameron O'Connor fires. Misses that one wide right, gathered in by the Aggies. Longwood has 25 made field goals, 14 assists in the game so far, 10 field goals from beyond the arc. So fouls on Christian Wilson, giving the Aggies a baseline throw in here. Longwood went into the intermission with a 17-point advantage. They have stretched it out ever so slightly as they lead by 19. Harris on the baseline, gets it out. Shot taken by Lyons, misses. Granlund with the board.
See here if Longwood does some set execution, you can see and hear Coach Griff Aldrich calling out their play action.
Wilson against Langley. Still 10 on the shot clock. And Munoz got tangled up, got called for the travel. Basketball goes back to North Carolina A&T as Nate Litteris checks into the ballgame. Litteris coming off the bench so far has played a little over 10 minutes and has rewarded Griff Aldrich's club with 10 points so far in the ballgame.
Some basic ball screen action up top here. They've done a nice job, A&T, of setting some stagger screens and then splitting off, looking at high-low and ball reversals. Everything's going to be going towards the basket.
So that jump hook missed by Jeremy Robinson, be tipped out of bounds. So basketball will be given to North Carolina A&T off the foul of Leslie and Carrium. So it'll be a baseline throw for North Carolina A&T. And a timeout will be called. It'll be a 30-second timeout. So with 8:41 left to go in the ball game, the Lancers lead by 19 here on ESPN+.
Shoot with that.
Omaha.
There it is.
Nothing but net.
Back here inside Willett Hall, North Carolina A&T with the basketball, fires from distance, and the shot made by Tyrone Lyons. A little bit of a lull offensively for North Carolina A&T. Lyons gets the bucket, cuts the lead to 16. North Carolina A&T pretty much selling out on the full court pressure. It pays dividends with the steal. Langley looks ahead. Langley leans in, back out to Cleveland Jr. And he makes the triple, and just like that, a 6-0 run cuts the lead to 13.
Pretty sure we discussed this at the break. Why teams that press with intensity and have great shooters are really, really dangerous. At what point does time and situation come into play in this game?
7:50 remaining in the ball game. A 13-point lead for Longwood. We'll be back in just a bit.
And the rest is history.
Brian Rushing, Katie Pate here inside Willett Hall. 7:50 remaining. Katie, this is a North Carolina A&T club that's knocked down consecutive triples after a little bit of a lull offensively. They're selling out with the pressure. What's Griff Aldrich's club got to do here to settle down in this 7:50 remaining and come away with this win?
It's that old adage of be fast but don't rush. stay solid and consistent. Again, stick to the script. Be prepared for their defense to run through some passing lanes. You need shot fakes, ball fakes, pass fakes, anything that you can do to get the defense to shift, to buy yourself a little bit more time to adjust the offense.
Leslie and Carrium with a very strong move there, but it's countered by Fred Cleveland Jr., who gets the triple, cuts the lead to 12.
Langley wants his hands on that ball so bad. Again, going to that sixth team foul. That next foul from North Carolina A&T will put Longwood in the bonus. Griff Aldrich can't get his team there fast enough.
And that was the first foul in a considerable amount of time for North Carolina A&T. They were poised for going into the bonus with about 15 minutes remaining in the ball game, and they've really settled in nicely on the defensive end.
North Carolina A&T is really going to mix up their defenses right now. Look for all sorts of little tendencies and little stunt plays, trapping on ball screens, switches on ball screens, mismatches, things like that. Longwood's got to stay patient.
Munoz with 8 on the shot clock, kicks it out to Litteris, who fires from deep. That one rattles around and finds a home.
Huge
Nate
shot.
Litteris is the third player for Longwood with 13 points in the ball game.
When Juan Munoz puts the ball on the floor and drives to the basket, perimeter players must be shot ready. That last one was a perfect example of what happens when you're ready to shoot the ball on a quick pass.
Langley works on Munoz, gets into the paint, shoots the floater and knocks it home. 68-55 the score, back to a 13-point advantage for the Lancers. Incarium sets the screen. Munoz inside to Incarium. Incarium gets his second lay-in of the half. He's got 4 in the second half, and the lead stretches back to 15 at 70-55.
Great two-man game right there. The more those two connect, the better.
Harris leans in, shoots a very difficult shot. Granlund did a very good job of forcing that shot way off the paint, and Longwood has possession.
Need some patience right here. You see Griff Aldrich putting his hands up. Whoa, 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 guys. Let's execute our set here. Eat some time off the clock.
Munoz looking for Incarium. Incarium now lost the handle, trying to put it into the chest of Langley, and now Langley brings it into the front court. Harris is going to be on the sideline again. The basketball goes back to Longwood as Zach Watson checks in along with Christian Wilson.
Juan Munoz and Cameron Langley both have their hands on their knees. It's like two prize fighters going at one another, picking up each other in the full court. These two guys have been doing a great job against one another. Langley going to get a quick break.
Well, and the schedule doesn't get any more benevolent for the A&T Aggies as they go to Richmond tomorrow night to take on VCU.
Oh, in Richmond.
Absolutely. Don't remind me. Christian Wilson flushes it home. That one's going to be our Hercules Tires. Strong move of the game as Christian Wilson found the opening and was able to flush it home. Thanks to the good folks at Hercules Tires for their support of college basketball.
That dunk getting some energy coming from the Longwood Lancer bench.
Harris from the elbow, misses short. Munoz trying to track it down, out of bounds. Possession stays with A&T.
You know, Brian, I had the distinct pleasure of refereeing one of Longwood's men's basketball scrimmages about a month or so ago, and I talked to the team about how you have to create your own sixth man this year. Without fans in the stands or ones that have voices, the voices on the bench this year are going to be particularly important. Need that energy and that enthusiasm coming from your teammates during the game.
Now hold on a second, Coach. You're going to tell me that you donned the stripes during a scrimmage, but you're not even going to give me anything on that call down on the baseline?
Listen, Coach Aldrich handed me a whistle that resembled a puppy squeaky toy. I ran up and down and got some good reps in. And I'm trying to stay friends with these guys right here.
I'm not going to let you off the hook that easy. 4:42 remaining in the ball game. Lancers lead by 17. Harris into the paint, loses the handle, and that's going to be a travel. I can make that call myself. It was never deflected by a Longwood player. He came down with it, and it's going to be a turnover for the Lancers.
That's my challenge. I almost dropped my pen right there. I started to make the call myself.
Well, I saw it. It almost went onto the floor. Good thing they've backed us up some. Justin Hill into the front court, being guarded almost as soon as he gets his hands on the basketball. Munoz to Wilson. Now Wilson thought about taking the three, but he likes that look better. It rimmed out on him, and it's going to go the other way. Harris will be the free throw shooter. The call, I believe, is going to go on Jesper Granlund.
I like the read by Christian Wilson, seeing that the defense was backed up to try to get to the rim a little bit. I think he needs to remind himself just how good he is at the three-point line right now.
Well, apparently in that movie, he convinced himself that he was going to finish at the rim and almost got it to go. Harris at the line. Free throws up and good. It's the North Carolina A&T club that shoots free throws at a 69.3% clip. Second free throw, it's perfect. And the lead is trimmed to 15 at 72-57.
Going to make Juan Munoz work here to bring the ball to the floor.
Watson can't get the handle on it. And with 3:57, that takes us to our final media timeout. 15-point lead for the Lancers. We'll be back in just a bit on ESPN+.
All right, that'll do it.
It's target practice.
Yes! Here we go.
Hi, Peyton.
Your president? You can't shoot with that. Omaha. There it is! Nothing but net.
.357 remaining here in Willett Hall. Second half action. The Lancers have a 15-point advantage. Want to thank our crew this evening. Doing good work here with the broadcast here inside Willett Hall. Lauren Sapko, Grace Paleo, Hannah Terrell, Colby Dunaway, Brandon Fenters, working all under the direction of Ian Jett. Doing good work this evening. So thank you guys for bringing us the sights and sounds of tonight's action. Brian Rushing here with Katie Pate. Certainly, Katie, 48 hours ago, this arena had a different vibe to it. This is a club right now enjoying a 15-point advantage, trying to see if they can finish up against North Carolina A&T.
Yep, time for Longwood to tighten the screws here just a little bit. Good hands by Justin Hill, getting that deflection. Watch for Langley to continue to drive to the basket, whether to score or to kick out to the perimeter for threes. Harris on the perimeter, deadly in the corners.
But, Katie, I would imagine just as important as the fact that not only they convert, but they've got to convert quickly.
Yes, absolutely.
Granlund with the rebound. They'll continue to pressure. Hill in the front court. Hill with the dribble drive, lost the handle. Watson can't keep it alive. It'll go to North Carolina A&T.
Those are going to be great film session opportunities with young players. Time and situation is really starting to become a factor. Getting some ticks off the clock, executing offensive sets that get Longwood a basket or to the free throw line, I am certain is what Griff Aldridge wants right now.
Katie, I would imagine at this point, I mean, obviously, this is a club still looking for its first win and still a bit of work to do. There's no question about it. But this is a club that has certainly acquitted themselves, especially after the game on Sunday, to come in 48 hours later, put it behind them, and have really put together a much better performance here this evening.
For sure. Really encouraging to see Longwood's efforts after that Greensboro loss on Sunday. With such a quick turnaround, it almost timed out perfectly that Longwood was able to get right back into practice, hop into that scouting report, and then play another game.
So the foul on North Carolina A&T, that was going to be on Kenyon Dooling. It's going to send Justin Hill to the line. Katie, we talked about Hill's mom being an all-world type player at UVA, but then, and I'm going to break out the old kid in me here, being a big fan of West Coast basketball, late-night ESPN games, as Hill makes the first free throw, watching the Big West, watching the West Coast Conference, watching the New Mexico State Aggies, watching Justin Hill's dad play on that 89-90 team. I could go on and on. Those were some great, great days late in my high school years. He makes both free throws.
It's quite the gene pool for this young man.
No question about it. It stands to reason you're going to be good at basketball.
Absolutely.
As that shot misses, Christian Wilson with the rebound.
Big rebound by Christian Wilson.
So the foul on Dooling with 2:57 remaining.
Head coach Griff Aldrich and I discussed free throws on our lunch break yesterday. I know that this is a special point of emphasis today following the game on Sunday. Really important to knock these down, put those extra points on the board.
And the foul shots become magnified once you dive into conference play. I know that this game is important for a lot of different reasons, but it's not yet a conference game. Once you dive into conference play, everything is magnified.
Well, and as we know, conference play is coming very early this season. Already several conferences in the country have started their conference play due to the pandemic. Longwood will not be any different from that as we head into conference play in the Big South just next week.
Robinson's three-pointer attempt misses. And we're inside 2:40 remaining here from Willett Hall. The Lancers with an 18-point advantage. They went to the locker room up 17, and they've had no discernible letdown in the second half. I think it got as close to 11, and that's really as close as it's been here in the second half. Hill off the bounce, throws up the floater, can't get it to go. Rebound gathered in by Robinson. Cleveland Jr. fires, misses. Watson with the rebound, has it ripped away. It looks like Langley will go to the free throw line. Watson had it for a moment. Langley was able to get it free, and they'll call the foul on Jesper Granlund, sending Langley to the free throw line. And we talked about, Katie, earlier in the ball game about this A&T club having nobody averaging more than 8 points per ball game, but 10 players with at least 4.7. Taking a look at the stat sheet, Cameron Langley's had a solid game. Blake Harris had a spurt there to where he was the best player on the floor. He's got 16. But outside of that, and Fred Cleveland's 9 off the bench, hasn't had near the impact that you would have anticipated from this A&T club.
Absolutely. Thought we might see a little bit more from Tyler May. I'm not sure where we've missed on that, but his production in the last few games for them as a slasher and pull-up jump shooter has been stellar. They really kind of need that triple punch there with Harris, Langley, and May.
Shot taken, misses deep. Rebound gathered in by Juan Munoz. And it looks like Longwood University is in fact going to come away with their first win of the season in convincing fashion. As hard as things were to take on Sunday against Greensboro College, it's been the exact opposite scenario tonight, a complete 180. Everything really that could have gone well tonight for Longwood has indeed gone well.
Perhaps the biggest thing, it just shows the resilience of this Longwood Lancer squad. How teams overcome adversity, especially early on in the season, are great indicators on what those challenges are going to look like as the season progresses. As we know, this particular season is flush with challenges. Schedule changes, travel changes, all sorts of different things that these student athletes are responsible for. If you can overcome a hiccup on your schedule and show up with a performance like this, again, I know that Longwood University staff over there on that sideline has got to be really encouraged.
So Juan Munoz will get called for the reach-in with 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining. So Longwood Lancers, after tonight's matchup, will travel to Radford to open up conference play on the road against the Highlanders, and then they'll welcome a Citadel team that defeated North Carolina A&T on their own home floor by 8 on the 19th of December before having their first conference home schedule games against UNC Asheville back-to-back nights on the 30th and 31st to wrap up 2020.
You know, Brian, you hadn't quite joined our staff the last time we saw the Citadel here in Willett Hall. That was a triple overtime game, if I remember correctly. We'll see if we can make that one a little bit easier on our head and hearts.
They'll also have a non-conference matchup in Blacksburg against the Virginia Tech Hokies. That'll be on the 21st. It'll be the prior to the holiday break. Zach Watson gets the field goal. The shot from distance. Cleveland Jr. misses, and Granlund gets the rebound. And Longwood can all but salt away this ball game. A 17-point lead here in Willett Hall. And I can imagine a collective sigh of relief going to come from the bench over on the opposite side of the floor from us, as they have an opportunity to pick up win number 1 on the season and do it in convincing fashion. As Christian Wilson's going to hang on to the basketball for the shot clock violation, and they'll turn it over to A&T. So, Katie, that'll give us an opportunity to basically kind of talk about what we've seen tonight, and then we'll talk about our player of the game. As the shot misses short, 77-60 the win. Katie, give us your thoughts on what you saw in the 40 minutes of action for Longwood tonight.
Whatever was on that scouting report, this team stuck to it to the letter. The results showed it. The energy and enthusiasm by that squad proved it. I know that the Lancers have got to be excited heading into this early conference season.
3 double-figure scores in the contest. Christian Wilson had 15. Juan Munoz finished the game with 13. Justin Hill actually had a chance to get into double figures with his performance tonight at the free throw line as the Lancers won 77-60. And now they'll begin to set their sights on road play to open conference against Radford. So we thank you so much for tuning in this evening. A 17-point win for the Longwood Lancers. We thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time from Willett Hall. Good night, everybody.